Hello, and welcome to this new episode of Awaken Your Awareness. In our daily lives, we strive to show our best selves. We present ourselves to the world with a smile, hiding those parts of ourselves that we consider unacceptable or shameful. But what happens to those emotions, thoughts, and desires that we prefer to bury deep within our minds? This process, known as shadow work, is a crucial step on the path to self-discovery and spiritual growth. Today, I invite you to explore with me this fascinating and challenging journey towards encountering that part of you that has remained in the darkness. Because only by embracing our shadow can we discover the true light within us. We all carry a shadow within us, that part of our psyche that we prefer not to see. But what really is the shadow? The concept comes from Carl Jung, a Swiss psychologist who dedicated his life to exploring the mysteries of the human mind. According to Jung, the shadow represents the hidden or repressed aspects of our personality. It's those thoughts, emotions, and desires that don't fit with the image we have of ourselves or with what we believe others expect of us. From childhood, we learn to identify which behaviors are acceptable and which are not. Those that are not, we relegate to the shadow. You might tell yourself, I would never feel envy, I would never lose control, or I'm incapable of hurting someone. But in reality, these repressed emotions and desires don't disappear. They simply hide in the depths of our minds. However, even though we repress these aspects, the shadow continues to influence our lives. It manifests in our dreams, in disproportionate reactions to certain situations, or in how we judge others. The shadow is not simply the bad in us, it's everything we deny or reject. Recognizing the existence of our shadow is the first step towards self-knowledge. By understanding that we all have a shadow, we begin to see ourselves in a more complete and human way. Accepting our shadow does not mean justifying harmful behaviors, but being willing to look within ourselves with honesty and compassion. In the darkness of our shadow, we find not only our weaknesses, but also immense potential. From a spiritual perspective, the shadow is not something to be feared or rejected, but an essential part of our being that needs to be understood and integrated. By exploring our shadow, we discover aspects of ourselves that have been forgotten or repressed, but which ultimately are part of our wholeness. Many spiritual paths invite us to transcend the ego, but before we can do so, it is crucial to understand and reconcile with our shadow. The shadow represents our unresolved emotions, our traumas and wounds, but it also houses talents, desires, and passions that we have repressed. Denying this part of ourselves is like trying to live only halfway, without recognizing the totality of our human experience. On the spiritual path, shadow work means confronting and accepting all parts of yourself, even those you would rather not see. By doing so, you not only release the energies trapped in these repressed parts, but you also allow the true light of your being to emerge with greater clarity. This process of integration can be painful, as it forces you to face your fears, your mistakes, and those aspects of yourself that you have kept in the dark. However, it is through this confrontation that a true transformation occurs. The shadow, when accepted and integrated, becomes a source of wisdom and inner power. When we stop fighting our shadow and begin to integrate it, we approach a state of balance and wholeness. We no longer need to project our insecurities onto others or repress our emotions. Instead, we learn to live in harmony with ourselves, accepting that both light and darkness are necessary parts of our spiritual experience. On the surface, our shadow can seem like an enemy, something we must keep at bay, something we fear will be revealed to the world. But in reality, shadow work is not a battle against something external, but a journey towards self-knowledge. It is an act of courage that allows us to face the parts of ourselves that we have kept hidden, and in doing so, transform our lives. Why is it important to do shadow work? Because what we don't recognize in ourselves, we project onto others. Unresolved emotions and the aspects of our personality that we repress do not disappear. They simply manifest in ways that we cannot always control. They can arise in our relationships, in the way we see the world, and even in our most important decisions. The shadow, when not confronted, can lead us to repeat destructive behavior patterns, sabotage our relationships, or prevent us from reaching our true potential. For example, the fear of failure can hide a deep sense of insecurity, while uncontrolled anger could be a manifestation of unprocessed pain. Shadow work gives you the opportunity to break these patterns and live in a more conscious and authentic way. Instead of being controlled by hidden emotions, you begin to take control of your life, understanding where these emotions come from and how to manage them in a healthy way. In addition, by integrating your shadow, you develop greater empathy and compassion, both for yourself and for others. Understanding and accepting your own darkness allows you to see others with greater clarity and less judgment. You realize that we are all struggling with our own shadows, and that creates a deeper sense of human connection. Shadow work is an invitation to live more fully, to accept every aspect of your being, and to break free from the invisible chains that have been holding you back. It is a journey that requires courage, but one that leads to a more balanced, authentic life in harmony with who you truly are. Facing your shadow is a deep and personal process that requires courage, honesty, and a commitment to your own growth. But how can you begin to work with that part of yourself that you have kept in the dark? Here are some essential steps to guide you on this path of self-integration. Step 1. Self-awareness. Spend time in introspection. Meditation, journaling, or even talking to a therapist can help you explore your deepest emotions. Ask yourself, what emotions do I usually repress? What behaviors of others provoke strong reactions in me? These questions are key to beginning to uncover your shadow. Step 2. Acceptance. Recognizing that we all have a shadow is an act of courage. Accept that these parts of you do not make you less worthy or less spiritual. We are all whole beings with lights and shadows, and accepting this is fundamental to healing. Step 3. Confrontation. This is the moment when you decide to face those parts of you that you have been avoiding. It can be through the exploration of painful memories or by allowing yourself to feel emotions that you have repressed for a long time. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding? What part of me needs to be seen and heard? Step 4. Integration. This is where the real work begins. It is not enough to recognize your shadow. You need to find a way to integrate it into your daily life. This may mean making peace with a past trauma or accepting a part of you that you have been denying. Practice self-acceptance and work to align your life with greater authenticity. Step 5. Forgiveness and compassion. On this path, it is crucial that you be compassionate with yourself. Facing your shadow can be a challenging process full of ups and downs. Allow yourself to feel, cry, laugh, and grow. Forgive yourself for past mistakes and honor your courage for embarking on this journey. Shadow work is not a destination, but a continuous journey. Every time you face and accept a part of you that you had kept in the dark, you take one more step towards wholeness and inner balance. Remember, this process is not about perfection, but about authenticity. It's about living fully with all your lights and shadows in harmony. Shadow work is an act of courage, a commitment to your own growth, and a crucial step on the path to spiritual fulfillment. It is not about eradicating those parts of you that you have kept hidden, but about accepting them, embracing them, and, most importantly, integrating them into the wholeness of your being. By confronting and working with your shadow, you unleash an enormous potential for transformation. You discover that what you once saw as a weakness or a flaw is actually a source of power and wisdom. You become more conscious, more compassionate, and more in tune with your true self. This is a journey that has no end, but every step you take brings you closer to a life of authenticity and inner peace. Remember that you are not alone on this journey. We all have a shadow, and we are all learning to live in harmony with it. So be patient with yourself, trust the process, and keep moving forward. Every small step you take is a step towards greater integration and wholeness. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery and transformation. If this video has resonated with you, please feel free to share your experiences or questions in the comments. We are here to support each other on this path. And remember, true light can only shine when we also embrace our darkness. Until next time. Namaste.